Hello, everyone. I know it's been a while. I just wanted to touch base very quickly on the press release that went out with our strategic partnership, Bellows Operating and Saltwater Discharge Company out in southern Texas. That is kind of laying a groundwork for a few of the things that we're going to be moving forward with. So I know the press release kind of alluded to a few other things. I did receive some calls earlier and with people asking questions and please understand, I think most people do understand that I can't get into specifics with individuals on the phone. I would never do that. So what we need to do is kind of put this out publicly for all of our fellow shareholders to have access to that information before we discuss it, one-on-one on a phone call. So let's just go over a few key points and maybe some questions that I was asked. I'll try to keep the video very, very short. So why did we do this why this company, or why did we make this particular decision? Bellows Operating, and it's Gary down there, they have a team in place that had it over 30 years, I believe, in reference to a footprint throughout Texas, specifically in that localized area. So they have a lot of staff, they have a lot of land, a lot of facilities that we can leverage or use for existing or upcoming clients. And they also have the expertise. They've been doing this a long time. We've trained them up on how to maintenance the equipment, how to use the equipment, how to demo the unit. Stan's gone down there several times and trained everybody up along with Brett. I think Jimmy's even been down there, if I'm not mistaken. So this has been almost a year-long process in order to get everybody up to speed, get the equipment out there. We did have some delays. I'm going to go into that into another video because people were very specific on what delays we've had this year. We had some trouble getting some components in and or manufactured, some more materials. We've got all those agreements in place now where we should not have a disruption in the supply chain. I say that, and I think the agreements kind of speak to that and outline that, but anything can happen as we've learned over the past couple of years. So the equipment that's in place, the frac tanks, the trucking, all the amount of equipment, I think, maybe some that are familiar with the industry would understand this, but there's a lot of tooling and equipment needed to support these types of operations and to support clients that are conducting not only drilling operations, but transport to the pipeline, treatment, obviously, of the crude. What was happening before H2O came along is they were trying to blend down and try to lower the iron content, paraffin content based on dilution. And that's not it's not cost effective, as many have found out. And there's a logistical limit on what you can do. So that was one of or I should say several of the key factors that drew us to Gary and his team. Great bunch of guys down there. It would be an understatement to say they've been exceptionally helpful in getting the demo units put together. We had a couple of issues with the tanks holding pressure. Again, these are demo units. They're on the back of a very small trailer. It's essentially to prove that the technology works. A full-size unit is an entire 45-foot long trailer, semi-tractor trailer. So that's a completely different system. I'll give you an example. The other day we ran a demo. The weather was cold, so we had some issue with flow regulation because of the viscosity of the oil. That wouldn't happen on a full-scale system, which is enclosed and heated. There's a whole bunch of redundancy built into the full-scale system. But we did do a demo unit just to show proof of concept and to show people before they send in a deposit or before they sign a contract that they are comfortable with the fact that the technology actually works. That's why we had to deal with Amtech, bringing the testing devices on site, which we had another delay with them by several days because they sent without one that was out that was not calibrated. So that was a fiasco. And this is all to be expected. I know many shareholders don't necessarily understand it. They get frustrated. Trust me, we get frustrated. But when you're doing something that has never been done before, you have to anticipate or expect that things are going to go wrong. They always go wrong. I don't care what you do. I don't care what company it is. You could be a Fortune 100 company. Things go wrong. So we worked through all of those, and now we've been proceeding as we anticipated. So that's gone very well. The relationship also adds additional dimensions to the business model of H2O because they operate discharge wells. Now, I don't want to get into a long explanation, but an oil producer will go in, they drill, they pull the oil out. That comes up, especially in Texas, with brackish water that needs to be treated, cleaned, what have you. There's going to be all kinds of things in that water. Obviously, many of you are aware, H2O has the technology to treat that. So we are going to be treating that for several clients that, or if not all the clients that Bellows Operating has, and it's also going to support additional revenue streams by separating out that oil. We can then sell that oil to the pipeline because we also have the ability to clean that oil, right? So the technologies work synergistically. You have the water treatment and the oil treatment. There's some other things we're bringing online. We'll discuss that in the future. But these are all going to be working in coordination, not just with H2O, but also with our strategic partner, Bellows Operating. So the Bellows Operating has the ability to not only transport oil, but transport water. So we will be transporting the water to the discharge wells that Bellows either owns or the additional backup wells that they lease. And there's a whole structure there. I'm not 100% familiar with it, but they have a whole existing business model. And they also have access to put oil directly into the pipeline, which is something that we are moving towards, migrating towards the purchase of contaminated or untreated oil, where we would go in, I should say H2O would go in, purchase the oil. They would be the buyers. They would treat that and then sell that into the pipeline. That, of course, has an exponential increase in margin or revenue. So that is something that is preferred, but we have to scale up to that. You're talking about expensive systems that take about 8, sometimes 10 weeks, depending on supply chain, to not only assemble, but manufacture some of the very unique and specific or proprietary components to that particular mobile system. And then we've got to test it and get it on site. So over the next couple of months, we will be manufacturing and implementing or delivering to several sites within the market these mobile systems, both water and iron removal. Something we really don't get into a lot of, there's also paraffin in the crude oil, and that's something that we've developed the technology to remove the paraffin or separate that out. So that's been something that we've been working on, and that's a whole nother dimension when you're looking at just taking iron out and say, well, why are we having a restricted flow and we're not cycling as fast? Paraffin. So then we solved that issue. And that was part of something. And the team over there has done a phenomenal job. They've essentially invented technology in a matter of months that's never previously existed. Some people were asking about patents. We're in the process of getting those put together, and they'll be filed. So we have a year to protect the IP. So the next side would be, okay, so they have an existing business model. How is that going to affect H2O? Those revenues will be shared on the discharge wells. We will be looking in, and I don't want to get into it in this video, but we are looking into bringing in additional capital resources to expand that side of the operations or support that side of the operations, because it's going to require more equipment, more drilling. Drilling is very expensive. The equipment's expensive. So we need to make sure that we can ramp up, because obviously the more wells that they have, the more contaminated water we can treat and then put into the discharge well. And then, of course, supporting the sales side of acquiring crude from producers, treating it, and then selling into the pipeline. So there's several costs there. You have the acquisition cost, which we've worked through to date, and then you have the manufacturing of the equipment needed to treat that. So that's already in process. So I'll get into some of the capital funding in a future video over the next couple of weeks. We've got a lot of information that's going to be pushed out by end of year so that we can bring everybody up to speed, because we've got a lot happening in Q1. So as far as some of the questions have been asked, additional contracts, how many more contracts are there? I'm not going to get into that now. We're not going to telegraph that. We will release that via PR, and then we can discuss it on video. I am going to do my best to get onto Twitter because that was another question. We'll get on there and do a Q&A. It's just been very, very busy with a lot of things that are happening with travel and coordinating travel, and then dealing with some of the other things. One of which is Ossifix, which is another question on my list. I'm going to have an update for you on Ossifix very, very soon. We've been progressing very well with them. It's required a lot of my time and the team's time to coordinate Ossifix with not just production, but delivery and a few other things. I don't want to get into specifics, but also H2O, the Dreaming Company, as many of you already know, has released the sheet, the bedding line. There's more to come. I think they are all in inventory. I know yesterday they were getting everything to the fulfillment center and then putting that in inventory in every fulfillment center because we do 1 and 2 day shipping. So it has to be in different areas across the country to make sure that we can meet that, kind of like what Amazon Prime does. So they're moving forward. And then I will have an update for you. I might put out a video for you. They sent me a video of the new creams being produced. So they came off the production line about a week, it was probably 2 weeks ago, and they're going to be cleared and start putting in inventory over the next couple of weeks. Should be in time for Christmas. So again, I don't want the video to run too long, so we're going to cut it short here. I will work on getting onto Twitter, and then I'll see if I can get some more video news. I did get a question on the video for the demo unit. That was all enclosed in the back of a trailer. We're trying to protect the IP on the full-size system. It's all enclosed in a tractor trailer, so we don't want anyone to take a look at what that system is and how that works. So we're just protecting IP. I know it didn't look pretty. I apologize for that, but when you're doing it quick and dirty to get it on site to show that it works so we can get a contract signed, the priority is building on those relationships and getting the contract and equipment built and the revenue soon. So hope everybody's doing well. I should be talking to you very, very soon again. We've got a couple more videos we're going to be shooting, and hopefully everyone is going to be pleased with the progress we've made. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Thank you.